Christian, how you doing, buddy?
Welcome in, Brendan. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad. You know, this is an interesting night. I never would have guessed that this would be the recommendation this week.
Oh, really? Is this a movie you've seen before? You enjoyed before?
I mean, I should say so. It's a documentary about my life, man.
I'd come one more time.
Yeah. No, this movie Warrior. No, I gave the screenplay to Hollywood Lionsgate. Actually, in fact, this is an actual retelling of my life. No, this is a near and dear story to my heart, man.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to expand a little more, maybe here. Which character are you?
Well, I mean, obviously Brendan, the one named Brendan. Hello.
Okay. Okay. I guess short-sighted of me. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they change names for movies like this sometimes too. It's not uncommon.
Well, yeah, but like when I gave them the screenplay, I was like, listen, I have one request. Please use the real name of myself. And I called my old man Pop. You don't have to give him like his actual name, but I'd make sure that all of the boys in the entirety of the movie refer to him as Pop for like the majority of it or whatnot. That was like my only two notes.
I can't help but feel like there are some inconsistencies with the way that a lot of this is set up. For instance, I feel like your family situation is different. You're not.
Which parts?
Well, I mean, there's like the immediate family part where with mom, dad, brother, but there's also the part where you didn't tell me you had a fucking wife and two kids.
Well, okay. So I mean, okay. Well, you know, funny thing, there might be a couple of embellishments in this particular film. I mean, it's not a 1-to-1 recreation. Like I said, I supplied the screenplay. I didn't give them like, you know, specific story beats to be about my life. You know, I think like, for example, just as an example, I think the two kids, I believe their names are Rose and Emily. Those are the names I gave my adolescent high school cars. And then the wife, I think when they're talking about the wife, I believe they're referring to
her name was Tess.
That's what I called my bike when I was a kid.
So all of the family in the film is just vehicles you had when you were younger. They just turned them into people. Is that how you saw them? You just saw them as like tools?
What? Wow. Okay. So you see people as tools. Got it. No, that's not what I provided them, you know, a little bit of background into my personal life, you know, things I cared about, things that, you know, that drove me.
And that doesn't bother you that they turned your old vehicles of choice into people. And
well, listen, I mean, the sappy shit sells. I mean, you know, what's most important is that they got the relationship between me and my brother right. That's really all that matters.
Okay, so you guys both were MMA fighters once upon a time. Your brother specifically an unprecedented high school wrestling talent, and then joins the military, drops out of the military in a slightly dishonorable fashion, and then you fight each other nearly to the death in the octagon.
Okay, so maybe like parts of that are still also like a little embellished.
Okay.
I mean, okay, so this is what is right. So I have a brother,
right? I remember.
That's all I have.
That's it. Okay, got it. Yeah, this is exactly what I thought. When do the lies stop, Brendan?
What? I don't. What do you mean? When do the lies stop?
When are you gonna give up the gig? Just because you can't claim that any movie with a main character named Brendan is based on your life. It's just not how it works.
Well,
Brendan, do we have to have another intervention about this? I thought we were past this.
Okay, I just really want Tom Hardy to be my brother.
Okay, well, I mean, I can get behind that, but this isn't the first time, and I won't let that slide.
All right, fine. Okay, this isn't a drama about my personal life. God damn it, fine, whatever. Jesus fucking,
I mean, that's good. This is good. The path to recuperation is acceptance first.
You know, I didn't even want Nick Nolte as my dad anyway. You know, honestly, like fuck him. I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe not in that form. Maybe the more lighthearted versions of Nick Nolte that
he's actually a very lighthearted guy. I like Nick Nolte a lot. Actually, he's one of my favorite guys.
I think this is probably one of the worst dad versions of him you could have gotten. So
this is a pretty low point for Nick Nolte, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of characters he's played, yeah. In terms of acting performance, fucking Pasta.
It was Pasta, but all right, fine. The lies are over. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring you on this magical journey of mine yet again. I do this every week.
No, it's all right. Like, I forgive
you. There aren't a lot of movies, which is probably why I have a problem. There aren't a lot of movies where there's a lead named Brendan. All right, that's really what I'm getting down to. Is the only reason I default to this, albeit very problematic line of thinking every single time I see a movie with a dude named Brendan. I just insert myself in his universe, and I'm starting to realize
I feel.
What do you mean? Your name is fucking Christian.
Well,
what the hell?
What,
your name is in every fucking movie.
No, main characters named Christian.
Oh, okay, hold on. Christian Bale. I'm just kidding.
That's his act. That's the actor. Let's try again.
Christian main. Oh wait, if I do Christian main character, I feel like I'm gonna get a very different response.
Yeah.
Just table this. All right, we're gonna table this, and I'm gonna fucking come back to you with this. All right, but I'm just gonna say the list of main characters in movies named Brendan is definitely shorter, beyond a shadow of a doubt, than characters in movies named Christian. Is all I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
This
I don't even
feels...
know how to go about looking that up, to be honest with you. I just feel like it's false.
Dude, this is like probably one of 3 movies I know with a Brendan in it. let alone the main character.
I can't think of any with Christian in it, so
that feels fucking wild. Just give me like 10 fucking minutes, we're done with this cast, and I'll fucking find you a movie. Right. Anyway, welcome to Panda View, everybody. We watched a movie, it's called Warrior, and it was actually really, really good. Don't mind the endless rambling and the outrage. You know what you're here for.
So, I think they know what they're here for. With that being said, would you care to read the summary?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's supposed to be what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked by finding movies with Christians in it, which is not giving me the results I wanted. Anyway, welcome to Panda View this week, everybody. The only podcast on the internet certified in badass and guaranteed to get you ripped in 3 simple steps. First, what you want to do is find yourself a whey protein powder that you like. There are a lot out there, and some are better than others, but it's all right if you don't have top of the line. Just get something that tastes good is my suggestion. Second, you're gonna have to be Tom Hardy. This part is non-negotiable, as it is very crucial to the third step that you make sure you are Critics' Choice Movie Award winner and Academy Award nominated film star Tom Hardy. All right, the coveted third step, the pièce de résistance, if you will. Start slamming that protein shit back and watch the gains roll in, baby. That's right. Basically, all you got to do is exist at that point, and you'll be shredded and ready for your next appearance as Bane in Christopher Nolan's Batman universe. Just look at that gorilla of a man. That could be you, and all you got to do is follow the program to the T. Now, with that out of the way, let's get you caught up on this movie. Warrior is a sports drama centered around 2 estranged brothers, Tommy and Brendan, each struggling through life, albeit in very different ways. Both end up resorting to the same former passion in order to improve their situation, mixed martial arts. They each begin training, Tommy with their recovered drunk of a father, and Brendan with his buddy and gym owner, Frank. Each makes their way into a huge MMA tournament called Sparta with a huge cash payout of $5 million. In between dramatic fights across the film, we witness the family fail to reconcile and reconnect on several occasions as the depth of hurt they've inflicted on each other is exceptionally deep and not easily forgotten. Witness the struggle of a broken family in a broken world brought together by broken faces in this over 2-hour-long movie about dudes fighting that, now that I think about it, is kind of like the Iron Claw, but less damaging to my emotional state. Yes, less damaging to my emotional state. I wanted to make sure I read that sentence correctly because Iron Claw fucked me up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was a wreck, a puddle of a man on the floor after watching that movie.
Yeah. I wasn't there for the Iron Claw, but I feel like somehow we found a way to make it relevant for me. I wasn't there when you guys did the Iron Claw, but I saw the Iron Claw long before we did a Panda View on it. And I remember the day I came out of the theater after seeing that movie, I was like, you guys don't watch it. and then I think it might have been just Justin. I don't know if you were there, but Justin was like, what are you talking about? I was so looking forward to watching that fucking movie. Are you kidding me? You're telling me that it's bad? And I'm like, no, I'm telling you it's good, but don't watch it. You will not make it. Because in its defense, it's very, very, very good. It's a grade A film, easily fucking 9.5 out of 10 pasta piece. Don't fucking watch it. You will be you will be upset. It will hurt you.
Yeah, and
it'll be
and
old yeller for
did.
you. It did. It is a very fucking depressed. And then of course I'm listening to your guys' Panda View, and I'm learning so much more about even how much more dire that family situation was. Oh my fucking God. It was endless. But you know, this movie has a lot of what that movie did right.
Well,
maybe
go ahead. Before you go on with this, I really do want to hear what you're going to say. So keep it in your back pocket. But I found something from an article from Vox. How many movies feature a character with your first name?
Okay.
And it has a search thing for it. So I'm gonna type both of our names in now and see.
Okay.
And see what it spits out. I just couldn't wait. I found this as you were reading the summary, and I was like, I can't believe how convenient this is. And before we got too far away, I need to do it. So I'm gonna type your name in first.
Yeah, and then if Warrior doesn't show up, then we know it's sus.
Okay, so it spits out. It says the name Brendan appears in at least 15 films and is ranked 685 on our list. Other names that rank at 685 include Caesar, Eric, and Gabe. It's not giving.
It doesn't give you like which movies
specifically. If I scroll down more, there's like example lists, but it's not giving me specifically. So we'll just have to trust it for now and say that they know their shit. So you're at 15. There's 15 movies.
Okay.
The name.
I can't wait to see what this fucking bell curve spits out.
The other, I will say before we do this. It does say appears in at least 15 films. It doesn't say
lead character,
specifically lead. So let's keep that in mind before yours ends up being less popular than mine somehow.
So you're already moving the goalpost is what I'm hearing. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's
okay.
cool. No,
I'm pressing the button. I'm pressing the button.
Yeah, press that fucking button. What is it? Give me the number.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
The name Christian appears in at least 17 films and is ranked 614 on our list. You know, I thought of a main character Christian as we were doing this also. The guy from 50 Shades of Grey, like the main dude. Oh my God,
his name's Christian.
I'm pretty sure his name is Christian.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
So if this generator is to be believed, there are 2 more movies with my name in it than yours, and that is astounding.
Not even close. Not even close, baby. I told you.
Okay.
I fucking told you.
With that off our chest, please tell me more about Iron Claw.
Well, I will say I did segue into this movie, to be fair.
Okay.
But I will say what this movie did right, similarly to Iron Claw, is the fucking drama centered around a family. Because this is the kind of writing that I love sinking my teeth into, is broken fucking people in a broken fucking society do shit like this. This is fantastic. I had a great time while I was watching this movie. Now, I will say, I think the only sour taste in my mouth, which I feel like this movie changes dramatically if you remove this one key element, but I do think the movie got a little too much. It got a little too convenient when they were brothers. That's what I'm going to say. I was not expecting them to go the route of being like, these 2 guys are brothers. And I feel like when you separate their backgrounds, I'm going to compare this to like a Rocky movie. This in and of itself is a Rocky movie where all the characters are more intertwined than they normally otherwise would be. I think I like when a movie has 2 faux protagonists that you want to root for different reasons. And by making them brothers, you centralize the plot line and make drawing that like line amongst your audience harder. Like you blur it too tremendously for my taste, where I really just either wanted to root for Tom Hardy because he was doing things for the right reasons, even though he was a dickhead, versus rooting for Brendan, who was very clearly trying to do things to help his family, but albeit he was probably not the one who was, I guess, maybe the most physically adept at the same thing or whatever. So there were 2 different reasons to root for the guys, but by making them brothers, I kind of feel like I saw the ending coming, right? Like obviously it felt like Brendan was going to end up being the winner And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, then they probably like give each other money so that, you know, each other can like figure their shit out. I feel like that's my only hot take. I don't like that they were brothers. Christian, what do you think?
I think I'm not sure how much. I think it reinforces the idea that Brendan is going to win, but also I think in a story like this, even if the whole thing is the same, but Tommy isn't related to him at all, Tommy's still like you would still care about Tommy for the same reasons. You just maybe see the ending coming a little bit less. Like it's maybe more likely that Tommy could win. But
yes,
I still think personally that even if you remove the familial tie and you put Brendan and Tommy against each other in the same way, Brendan probably comes out no matter what, because you want to have the guy who went about things the right way, doing it for the right reason, win, and not the guy who's kind of doing it for the right thing. Well, I mean, he's doing it for the right thing, not even kind of. He's doing the right thing in his own way, but his own way is by like stepping on everybody else along the way. So in that scenario, I think it's not hard to predict that Brendan wins regardless. But I don't know. I think I kind of like that they're brothers. I think at the end of the day,
I'm gonna paint you one more picture to state my case, which is not. I'm not like. By the way, this is not turning a 9 into a 9.5 with this one change. This is turning a 9 probably laterally into a 9, just with a slightly different telling, because it would take away. It would separate me from being able to read the ending a little bit more. If they weren't brothers, in my mind, a character flaw in Tom Hardy, also known as Tommy in this movie, I'm going to henceforth refer to him as Tom Hardy because I can't do Tommy. Tom Hardy, his fatal flaw is that he steps on everybody, and you can see that time and time again as the movie goes on and on and on. And he's like he's miraculous at what he does. Clearly in the ring, that's what his character is meant to be. Also, he's got traps for miles.
Mountains for traps.
Actual fucking mountains for traps. I feel like a very fun way to resolve his character in the event he wins in this movie would have been to, even though he had no ties to Brendan, he knew about Brendan maybe through announcers, because, you know, as you get closer and closer to the final fight, you know, both announcers are going to start like fucking going, you know, saying like, you know, this is his background. And then as Tommy, I like the idea that Nick Nolte is still Tommy's dad. Maybe not Brendan's, but Tommy's for sure. I like the idea that if Nick Nolte is still Tommy's dad, through his episode with Nick Nolte, he at some point, like the switch finally flips. He can finally start to forgive himself and those around him for wronging him, and maybe he can even sensibly, you know, reach out to someone like Brendan and be like, I know you were fucking in there in the trenches just as much as I fucking was. How do I help you? And like, that's like where the movie could like fucking hard cut instead of what we got, which not to say this is a bad movie. And it did not resolve in a way that I find unsatisfactory. I just think it could have been a little more fun if we went the route of Stranger, because I think I just like those stories a little more.
That's fair. I can definitely see that being more appealing to people as well. Just the idea, especially that you see the ending coming maybe a little bit less, and then have more specific character growth for Tommy. I get that. I think I still just like the brothers dynamic a little bit more, because I think I'm as we've done podcasts on different things. I mean, it was especially pertinent in Iron Claw, but it's come up in like One Piece and maybe one other piece of media that we've watched as well. And now this, where I think I'm just kind of a sucker for the older siblings stepping up for the younger sibling sort of storyline. Yeah, I'm just like, by the end of the movie when they're fighting and they're in like rounds 3 and 4, and Brendan, despite getting his shit rocked in the first 2, is like he's crying in the octagon almost, and he's shaking his head, like he drops his guard and he's like, I don't want to do this, I can't do this, and he's just looking at Tommy, who's in some of the most disheveled version of himself that Brendan has probably ever seen. And it's just like, well, the only way to finish this is to finish the match, and then we can figure things out from there, as long as we have the ability to reconcile. And they do by the end of the movie for the most part. I do wish that we do get maybe another couple of minutes of like aftermath sort of thing, where
like what came next,
what they were able to accomplish. It doesn't even have to be that far in the future. It can be like 2 weeks from then, where like Tommy is hanging out
in
with
jail.
Brendan. Well, he's in jail, but maybe Brendan's hanging out with him, and I don't know, maybe even brought the kids. I don't know, so they can meet their uncle. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just some more positive spin on it. Obviously, the movie ends very kind of uplifting with Brendan saying he loves his brother and he walks him out and all of that, and then the father disappears into the crowd because he's there too. All of this is kind of what I wish we had in the last another 5 minutes of the movie, but yeah, it was minor nitpicks.
I guess, that's kind of interesting you mentioned that, because that is sort of what this movie, maybe that's another hot take. It does sort of end without parts of it being resolved, doesn't it? Like at least the relationship with Nick Nolte, that never gets really resolved, other than the moment that we get between Tommy and his dad as he he returns to his alcoholism, which we haven't even really touched on, like what most of these characters are doing and how they are. But so if Brendan and Tommy are siblings, Tommy was taken by their mother. They left, and Brendan stayed behind, and Nick Nolte plays their estranged and alcohol abusive father, presumably from when they were adolescent. And at some point, Nick Nolte and Colin Edgerton, who plays Brendan, who's a great actor, by the way. I'm a big fan of Colin, but since he has my name, I'm going to refer to him as Brendan for the duration of this podcast.
Joel Edgerton.
Sorry, Joel Edgerton. I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know why I call him Colin Edgerton. You're absolutely right, Joel Edgerton. Anyway, he's Brendan to me. Brendan and Nick Nolte here, they clearly had some kind of estranged relationship that they never really expand on, probably due to the alcoholism, where they completely separated ties or whatever. So Nolte's in this position where he has no sons. He has 2 kids out in the world, but he has no sons. And then finally, fucking Tommy approaches him and goes like, "Hey, you're going to be my coach." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." And Tommy's like, "No relationship stuff, just coaching." And then they get to the end of the movie where, unfortunately, Nolte's character is, he's distraught. He can't bear the idea that he's being rejected so heavily by his only family. So he does eventually return to his alcoholism. He was up until that point 1,000 days sober, by the way.
Yeah.
And then at that point, that's when Tommy or Tom Hardy's character finally, maybe not forgives him, but I feel like something that I really liked about how they portrayed the relationship between Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte is it was obviously very visceral, and it was pretty crude. Tommy did not have any respect nor understanding forgiveness in his father at any point throughout this movie. And I feel like in large part because he never believed in the version of his dad that he was conversing with that was sober. Like he felt like it was smoke and mirrors. It was an act. And it wasn't until he realized that he was the catalyst in ruining his own dad that he could finally start to look inward and be like, maybe I'm the problem. Or at the very least, that's kind of how I read the scene, because they don't really say much, because Nick Nolte's character is obviously fucking drunk and toasted off of his ass. And then Tom Hardy finally just like agrees to like hold him and, keep him from hurting himself or whatever, as he's listening to an audiobook for fucking, I don't know, what was that? Moby Dick or whatever. He never actually affirms anything, but his body language is supposed to be all that you need to be like, okay, fine, maybe I am being a little bit of the shithead here, which I can respect. I really can.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just such a gut wrenching scene, that hotel scene. Just the way that Nick Nolte's character, whose name is Patty, their dad,
Patty, my fault,
plays that scene just so incredibly. The moment he walks up to Tom Hardy in the doorway and is screaming at him, I forget exactly what he's screaming right now, and he's listening, and this is across the entire movie. We've been getting excerpts of Moby Dick in the background, and just getting these sort of critical lines all across the time. And I forget, it's like the specific part in the book that Patty is listening to is when Ahab's, I don't know, like right-hand man or something, or first mate or something, is trying to get him to turn the ship around and abandon this hunt for the white whale, trying to get Ahab away. And I think, I think in some ways, to kind of break it down maybe a little bit, Patty sees himself as Ahab having steered the ship, but like into ruin, just chasing after this one thing, a lot of this is not expanded upon very much. And I kind of don't mind like stuff like the specifics about how abusive he was when they were younger, or specifically what goes wrong with the mother. We just know that she gets sick, starts throwing up blood some days, and then dies eventually. And it seems clearly also that a lot of Patty's time and effort when he did still have his family together was channeled into Tommy, because Tommy was this relentless, undefeated wrestling champion. And so this is, then the abuse that Tommy probably hates him for the abusive parts, and probably overworking him to some extent. And then Brendan hates Patty, their dad, because he just gets completely left to the wayside, it seems like, in favor of Tommy being the golden child here. So, that being said, I took the extra step here. Not only is Patty just so incredibly distraught that he's being rejected time and time again by his son Tommy that he's trying to reconnect with. Tommy specifically has this line that he says twice in the movie, once at the beginning and then once again in the casino scene, where he tells him, "I liked you better when you were a drunk." And then what does he go and do? He goes and returns to his drunk form, potentially in an attempt to get Tommy to like him again. So if you take that sort of line of thinking too, then it makes this scene even more heart-wrenching, because he's still, even in this moment, trying to be seen as favorable by his son in whatever way that he thinks he can. And if that means abandoning 1,000 days of sobriety, then he's going to do it, because he wants to, have a relationship with his son again. So
that is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
When I first started talking about Nick Nolte, I was going to say that was probably something that they never really ended on. They just sort of like have him looking off into the distance going like, "I hope you find love out there, kids," which is like kind of, I don't know, it's a little sad. I really like the way that they describe the relationship with Patty. It's funny how you mentioned that they don't really go into a lot of detail. I feel like there's two schools of thought when you're trying to establish, especially when you're trying to establish like bad relationships between characters. You either are very upfront about it so that the audience is like, "Oh yeah, that person's a complete fucking piece of shit. No wonder I wouldn't fucking talk to him either." But when you're a little bit mysterious about it, you can have the creativity of like creating, I don't know, maybe like a sense of confusion where it's like, well, wait a minute, like we don't know what he did. Like maybe he's not all bad. He's clearly trying. Maybe he's worth like fucking forgiving or whatever, or at least more than what the kids were doing. We never really get those answers. They never go into significant detail other than they split. She was sick and he was a drunk. Those are really the only beats that we get. And at some point, Tommy goes in the military, and Brendan also apparently was dating his now wife back when they were like 16. So they stayed together. Love that for them. But other than that, we have no idea what other traumas they really instilled in these two, which I feel like is a daring decision, especially when you want your like audience to believe that this guy was clearly the problem in their young life and is now trying to rectify past mistakes, because we don't know what mistakes he's trying to rectify other than his alcoholism. As far as we're concerned, he's a pretty okay guy, and these kids are just assholes. But honestly, it works really well for this film. I can't say I hated it.
Yeah, I think I end up okay with them sort of skipping out the minutia here, because they do a good job of really selling how just like, I guess, traumatized that the two of them were.
Absolutely done. Like zero desire whatsoever to have anything to do with this guy.
Yeah. And so I think if there's only one of them, like maybe you go, okay, well, maybe there's something else here. Like maybe the kid just misinterpreted when he was young. If it was just Tommy, for instance, in the scenario where it's just Tommy's and he runs away with his mom. Like, this could have been a situation where, you know, the mom just has a specific problem and the kid is just fed lies from the mom about the dad's reputation. But we get this dual-sided thing where we have Tommy, who runs away with the mom, and Brendan, who stays behind, but equally hates his dad still. So it kind of corroborates
really
each
no
other's
more wiggle
story.
room.
Yeah, they corroborate each other's story well enough that I'm like, okay, I think, and even they explain when they're in the beach scene that part of the plan was that both of them would run away with mom in the first place, but because Brendan had his girlfriend and was just so madly in love with Tess, he stays behind. So I think I think I can be okay in this instance, not getting the specific backstory on what he did that was so bad outside of just being a raging alcoholic and abusive. Because of this, you get this situation where they figure each other out.
Damn, you're starting to make me think there's a good reason for them to be brothers after all. Because yeah, having two characters corroborating the abusiveness of one character really does help sell it if you're not going to go into detail.
Mm-hmm.
I ask way fewer questions when two people call somebody an asshole.
Yeah.
One person calls a guy an asshole. I don't know. He could be wrong. Two people calling a guy an asshole. They have to be right.
Yeah,
There's two of them.
Gotta be telling the truth now.
They gotta be telling the truth.
It's only logical.
Yep, that's all it takes. So basically, what I'm saying is, I'm a victim of what do you call that? when a group of people all believe something and then you start to believe it. I don't know what that's for, but there's a word for that.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm not sure.
I'm just a sheep, is what I'm getting at.
Oh man,
that's all it fucking takes.
Yeah,
yeah. This but these two individuals. So Tommy, let's delve a little more about what Tommy and Brendan. So Brendan is he's like me. He's just a guy. I'm just kidding.
He's just like me for real.
He's just like me, but for real. No, he seems to be a relatively well put together gentleman with a wife, couple of kids. That part not like me, but and also he is a dork that teaches physics, which is a little like me. That's a little like me.
There's math in that one.
There's math in that one. Exactly. That he's a literal high school physics teacher who happened to be like not a professional, but maybe like a what do you call it?
Like amateur, I guess.
Yeah, amateur MMA fighter back in the day.
He's clearly trained as an MMA fighter at some point. He just didn't like make it big.
Yeah, and we learn through the relationship between him and his wife, later in the film when his ass gets caught, sprinkling some fights in under the table, and she's like, we promised this wasn't going to happen anymore, like we're not doing this anymore, and he's like, I know, but like I'm good at it, we can make money. Speaking of, the reason why they need money is because capitalism sucks, and healthcare sucks, by the way. In case you forgot what country you're living in, this movie is based in America, where these problems actually happen. Poor guy had a kid whose heart had issues, so they took a fucking reverse mortgage on the house, which, for those that don't know, reverse mortgage is when you take the built-in equity of the house, you put a new loan back on it so that you can receive the equity back in hand, and you can have, freedom to use whatever that money for whatever you want or whatever. And and it was the
second time they did that, I think, right?
I think so.
I think they specifically point out that was the second time they refinanced their home.
Well, they mentioned about refinancing because I'm assuming that this is probably where the movie starts to be like a little wishy-washy and like how like real life works. But the thing that fucked them was the reverse mortgage, because that's how you get they got cash in hand at the cost of adding to their mortgage, and their mortgage payments probably just became astronomical. They couldn't afford it. So now their mortgage payments, they're coming before, when their mortgage payment was like, maybe $2,000 a month. Now they're fucking knocking on the door like, hey, your mortgage is now the entirety of your house's value. We're going to need your mortgage payment to go up in like $5,000 a month. And they'll be like, well, we literally can't afford $5,000 a month. And then the bank is like, not our problem.
Yeah, sucks. We'll have your house on by the end of 3 months then, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happened here. So even if they go like, yeah, well, you told us to refinance, which actually I bet you that refinancing put them in a position where they couldn't leverage their old payment on top of their new one or something like that. And then the guy was like, listen, I gave you an option. I didn't have to tell you. You didn't have to do nothing, which is like, what? Fuck that guy. Anyway, they have money problems. They're losing their house because they needed cash in hand to afford medical life-saving medical surgery on their child for their child's heart problems or something like that. And unfortunately, because because Brendan is a literal high school teacher and probably makes $60,000 a year. I'm just kidding.
If
maybe
that's being hopeful.
The dude decides to start picking up some amateur fights to offset the income while lying to his wife and telling her that he's just being a bouncer for a local club or strip club or something like that.
I also just want to say, he quotes that the place he went to was only going to pay him $9 an hour. What the fuck is that? I know it's 2011, but like $9 an hour has got to be too low for a bouncer.
That might not be fake. I think in 2011, $9 an hour is probably $12 an hour in today's money. Number one. And then number two, I'm willing to bet that most bouncers, I bet you they are really cheap because it's just like something they do on the side, right? Like most bouncers probably do, I don't know, maybe like weightlifting competitions or like fight competitions like this. It wouldn't surprise me if most people that are bouncers do it as like a side gig, kind of like this guy was doing, and they only do it just because they're like, oh, a little extra cash never hurt anybody or something like that. You know, it pays for the way that I need to get in my diet or whatever.
I guess. I don't know. I still found it kind of incredulous that $9 an hour for that job is just, I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt. And obviously I'm not a bouncer. I've never been a bouncer. So this is where the deviation between me and Brendan here start.
Well, to be fair, neither is he. So
what? Yeah, you see. So anyway, like I'm saying, we're the same people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he pretends to be a bouncer until he gets his ass caught, and then she's like, "What the fuck?" So that sets up the stage for Brendan here. Is any notes, Christian, or is there anything I forgot before I move on to our secondary protagonist in Tommy here?
The only thing that really is, and again, this is not necessarily a thing I need expansion on by the movie. I'm fine with it the way that they leave it, is that clearly at some point in the past, Brendan was doing fighting before this and probably doing it more consistently. And he ends up in some sort of, like, he gets the shit beaten out of him bad enough that he ends up in the hospital, and like it's like really there's some kind of scare where they really think he's going to die or end up paralyzed or something like that. But he clearly makes a full-ish recovery and probably vows to Tess to never fight again because it was scary and she doesn't want to go through that again. So that's part of the divergence between him and his wife, is that she does not want to relive that moment where she is afraid that Brendan's just going to die in a hospital bed after getting punched in his temple by some guy, or like roundhouse kicked in the kidney and it bursts or something, you know, whatever the case is. So that is the divide here as to why she is so opposed to him doing that and why he keeps it a secret in the first place. And then obviously there's the latter part, which actually becomes a plot point where it's probably kind of frowned upon by the school system that their teacher is moonlighting as a UFC fighter or amateur UFC fighter.
That was such an annoying B plot. And I found the best thing that came out of it was that the whole fucking school got riled up to see their science teacher kick the shit out of dudes.
I agree that is extremely heartwarming, and I love that even the principal gets behind it. Yes. And they rent out that movie theater like the kids originally were proposing earlier in the film. That all is great. Very heartwarming.
No, even better. I think they propose doing just an auditorium, and then at some point off scene or off camera, the principal goes like, "Nah, we're gonna rent out the local drive-in movie theater and do this shit."
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right about that. I might have misremembered it. But they turned it into a whole like fundraiser and everything too. Like I remember them proposing that as well for the whatever the first proposal was. So they do that too, and they've got all the t-shirts. I love the I paused specifically to like read a couple of the posters that some of the kids had like drawn up, and all of their shirts say Mr. C equals MC squared, except instead of the MC squared part, it's like Einstein with a little 2 exponent next to him. So it's that's funny. There's a sign that says Mr. C's gonna kick your A++. It's like censored the curse word ass.
That's cute. I like that a lot.
There was another one. I wrote these down. Hold on. There was one more. Mr. C, show him no mercy. pretty funny.
I like that.
Pretty
I like
funny.
that. I also like how the first lesson when we're introduced to this guy that which is just like a dumb narrative choice. Well, not dumb. It was clearly on purpose, but I caught it. Where the first thing we learn about him as a science teacher is he goes like, so anyway, Newton's second law, the sum of the forces equals mass times acceleration, setting you up for the fact that he is a force to be reckoned with, that he will fucking beat the shit out of you with the forces of his hands.
yeah. Unfortunately, we don't get the movie where he that parallels Newton's third law. So
yeah, an object in motion stays in motion.
Yeah, maybe that's a sequel we get one day. That's opposite. That's action and reaction is the third law.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was thinking of the first law. Yeah, the third one is every action has an equal but opposite reaction, which maybe that's what his brother was living.
Maybe. Maybe so.
But anyway, so that sets the stage for Brendan here. And then Patty, he is on the other end of the spectrum. Oh, also they try to establish this like Brendan is the underdog, whereas Tommy was the prodigy in their youth. Yes. Whereas now clearly their lives have diverged very differently. But I feel like that's like a very important, like thought-provoking part of like their characters. Tommy gets taken by their mother at a young age, and after she passes away, presumably he just enlists in the Marine Corps. And at some point while he's in the Marine Corps, he lives a very very interesting career, by the way. They inform the audience that at some point in time he literally ripped the door off of a tank, saving drowning individuals that were in a tank that was slowly submerging in the ocean from an AWOL, I guess, airdrop or something like that. People were inside, and then he just so happened to be there, like on the shores, and was like, "Here, let me just roid up and bane up really quick and rip this fucking door off this tank."
Wild.
There was a comment while the announcers were like, obviously, actually, I like they had a couple of scenes I thought was really funny. Because they refer to Brendan as like the goldfish in a shark tank, and then
my man literally pulls out a fucking bagged goldfish for this fucking bit. Like what is this?
I thought it was great, dude. I
think it's hilarious, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's like that. Did my man really go all the way to a pet store, buy a fish just so he can make this bit to his co-commentator? What?
I want to live in the world where he was sitting at that like desk the entire night, and then Brendan's fight was the last fight of the night, and he's like, "Oh boy, I've been waiting to dish this one out all fucking night." It was just sitting underneath his the table the whole time.
Fucking yeah, just gasping for air in the tiny bag for 8 hours.
Like, can I please go in a tank, sir? I'm
just
dying.
Desperately needs oxygen.
But they do that bit, and then the other one that they do that I liked was when when Tommy gets brought into the tournament and he's like, running up, they're like, oh, he's like very unorthodox. He doesn't follow any of the rules. He doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't do any of the photo shoots, blah, 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 blah. And the dude's like, yeah, I think he's just going to be a YouTube sensation, get it knocked out in the first round. And then the other guy is like, dude, he ripped a door off a tank.
Off a fucking tank.
and then the guy's like, yeah, but like a tank doesn't hit back. And then the guy goes, brother, he ripped a door off a tank. I'm like, honestly, that you're absolutely right. That trumps most counter arguments can be defeated with, my guy ripped door off tank.
Yeah.
He went toe to toe with a tank and won, saving lives. Mm. Anyway, I just liked that comment. That was really funny. Good. So anyway, he goes to the Marine Corps. He saves some people. But at some point when they were under siege from their own allies, in fact, him and one of his brothers in arms, presumably his best friend, well, not presumably, his best friend in the Marine Corps, they were attempting to parlay for like their own people and be like, hey, like we're allies, like don't fucking shoot us down or whatever. That didn't go very well. And unfortunately, everyone died but Tommy, which I guess they don't really explain why, other than he just went AWOL. Like that was the moment he went AWOL, which is like, I mean, guy.
It seemed to me it was the Americans were bombing an area and didn't realize that there were American troops down there, I guess, and didn't pay enough attention when Tommy, Manny, and whoever else was with them try to like wave them down or get their attention and be like, hey, there's Americans down here, stop bombing us. And then the bombers dropped the payloads regardless because they didn't see, and then everybody died except Tommy.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess like, I mean, don't get me wrong, PTSD is a bitch, but like if he survived that, like, brother, why didn't you like come fucking screaming and hollering to like the nearby base and be like, guys, you just killed my whole fucking squad. What were you doing? Instead, he chose to like, I guess, quietly leave the armed forces, make his way back to the States, and now he's literally a criminal by law. I'm like, dude, you could have made it out of this.
Yeah, I think, you know, Tommy is definitely posed as someone who thinks with his emotions first and then
True.
And then deals with the consequences later, or doesn't deal with the consequences later. And
also true.
So, you know, that happens. He gets extraordinarily angry. He's enraged at the U.S. armed forces, and then just is like, they've betrayed me. They've betrayed my best friend. He's dead now. All of my brothers in arms are dead. And it's
did he make any of those proclamations though?
No, I'm just positing this as what is probably his motivation here.
Okay.
That's what,
because I was kind of waiting for a little of that, right? And I feel like we never actually got it.
Yeah, we don't ever get any, and you know, this is maybe one of the more, I think, pertinent things that I would say maybe could have used some expanding on, because clearly he feels conflicted. He's getting all of this praise for being an armed member, a military service member of America, and the video comes out of the dude he saved out of the tank, but he knows in his heart of hearts that his best friend is dead, and B, he's gone AWOL and is essentially a wanted man by the military police. So he's getting all of this praise from people for being part of the military, when in reality he's kind of like what some people would consider having done the worst thing, which is abandoning his post.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, the military didn't do him any favors. That's for damn sure.
No, by no means. But I'm just, again, that none of this is explained in any detail. You're just supposed to kind of infer it based on context, kind of thing.
Yeah, you kind of just have to roll with like you never get like true conscious description of his like actual feelings towards his former service. You just kind of have to accept that he was a former serviceman, and now he's training in MMA to win $5 million.
Yeah, to give it all specifically to the wife and family of his best friend Manny. Yes. He wants not a single cent of that $5 million.
Yeah, he wants to get, in fact, as soon as I like how they clarified this, so we get all this context for Tommy here, in addition to, of course, the fact that him and Brendan are brothers and related to estranged Nick Nolte. Not estranged in the majority of the movie, but, you know, previously he was estranged. Anyway, we get all this context between the two guys. They're like, oh, these two are brothers. Like, here's their background, blah, blah, blah. And like, we've like learned this about these characters over the course of the movie. And at the end of the movie, after they're like, yeah, he went AWOL after the fight. And I'm like, brother, they're going to let him do the fight? I thought he was going to go to jail. What do you mean?
Nah, the military police were like, I got money on this, so I need them to fight.
So after they find out that, yeah, they figure out that his identity was different or whatever, because he was using his mother's last name, not his dad's last name, which I guess is like, well, I guess that would be enough to get away with it. Because unless they had Social Security on file, which I can't. Well, actually, they should have the Social Security on file. I mean, this feels a little wild.
They might or they might not. I think, you know, suspending any other part of it, you just go. They take pictures. They take a picture of him and they run it through some database, and it goes, wait, this dude's name isn't Riordan. It's fucking Conlon.
Which is funny because, like, now that I think about it, because he never wanted pictures for these fights, maybe that's part of the reason why.
Could be, yeah.
It could be. But yeah, so after they find out his like true identity, you know, Batman style. See what I did there? Anyway, after they find out his true identity,
does Bane ever actually know? I don't know. I don't remember if Bane ever actually finds out that he's.
I think Bane did figure it out, didn't he? Am I crazy?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I
I know for a fact that the girl he was sleeping with that ended up being Talia figured it out. And Talia was Bane's lover. I think he did figure it out by the end of that movie. I'd have to go rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure he did know.
Either way.
But anyway, now I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so yeah, they find out that he is not who he says he is, and that he was this, this former Marine Corps guy that went AWOL. And they're like, well, after this fight, he wants to put all $5 million to the family. He's donating all $5 million of it to the family of his former brother in arms or whatever. Which we got a little bit of context earlier in the movie where we were learning like what he was really fighting for, because up until he calls his former friend's widow, where we were just kind of like we were getting the stage was being set for. Tommy, the endearing underdog, is going up against this prodigy, and he's just like a mean guy that clearly is kind of an asshole. But now they throw this like red herring after you and be like, oh, but wait, he's also doing it to give the money to his former best friend's family that desperately need it. And you're like, oh, man. So anyway, what I'm saying is the real villain of this movie is capitalism.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. The villain in this movie is capitalism.
100%.
This movie does not happen without families struggling.
We can broaden it to America as a whole. That way we can encompass the military along with the economy.
This movie does not happen with any emotional connection unless capitalism is in play. Is all I'm saying. It cannot exist. Yeah, shit, dude. I did really like how they painted these two characters and how they were very different. I think they were just like very different people, but they still went through very similar traumas. And they learned obviously very different morals along the way. In obviously, I would say that Brendan has buried the hatchet much more than Tommy has. But even Brendan is not blameless in that he clearly has absolutely no respect and nothing but disdain towards his former father. Well, I guess I should say former, his estranged father, Patty here, because as in the one scene that we have between Patty and Brendan makes it very clear you're not welcome here, you're not allowed here. And he's like, oh, I forgive you, but I will never trust you again. And then Nick Nolte is like, saying as he's like about to break down and fucking cry, he's like, but like those things are like really related, man. You can't just say forgive me, but not trust me. Like they're kind of. And then Brendan's like, hey, I can't hear you. Fucking get off my property.
Who's that old man, Daddy?
He's a nobody. Oh man, dude,
just a nice old man.
Why you gotta hit me with the fucking dumbass kids being like, who's that old man, Daddy? Why they gotta hit me with that, dude?
Yeah, just to break Nick Nolte's heart even further because he's like seeing his grandchildren through the glass door, but he can't say hello because
Nick Nolte went through the fucking ringer in this movie, and he fucking sold every minute of it. I don't think that can be overstated enough. Like this movie really did have three primary characters. I feel like I had obviously much more like attraction towards the plight of Nick Nolte than I did over the counter, the coach for Brendan. Probably just because the coach for Brendan is just like like Frank. Like obviously Frank is just like a nice guy. He's like a cool guy. But like if something dramatic happened to Frank at any point in this movie, I'd be like, okay, well, I don't know, man. Like everyone else is already going through it. Like we don't need you to.
I don't have room in my heart for a fourth.
I don't have room in my heart for fourth character trauma right now.
Yeah.
I like this movie a lot.
I agree. I found myself, especially in the last like 10 minutes of the movie when they're doing the fight and all the stuff comes out about Tommy and then they're doing the fight. I found myself getting a little choked up at the end, especially when the song comes in towards the end, and they're just Brendan looks out in the crowd at like his wife and Frank, and he's clearly so distraught over what's happening, and man, yeah, just tugs at the heartstrings.
You remember the first Pokemon movie?
Yeah, go on.
You know what I'm gonna say?
I have a feeling.
What if? What if we recut that whole scene and instead of the song that we got, we just start playing Brother, My Brother, Tell me, what are we fighting for? We've got to end this war.
Oh my god, dude.
I want that. I'm gonna make that.
Yeah, please do. And
I'm making that. Actually.
I'm so happy. I will be over the fucking moon if you show me that in actuality one day.
Tell me why. Tell me, my brother.
Just as maybe something a little different than the heavier emotional tones, I personally just want to say and put it on record that I'm much more of a fan of Brendan's like Brazilian jiu-jitsu takedown style as opposed to Tommy's brute strength method of fighting.
Yes.
I'm just usually across most things, whether it be in this case it's fighting, but even like with my rock climbing and other things, I feel much more or video games, I'm endear myself much more to like technical or dexterity based things rather than brute strengthening things. So the fact that Brendan overcomes these mountains of men walking at
literal
him,
mountains,
literal fucking mountains, that definitely they not claim, in the same weight class.
I was just gonna say, they claim this is a middleweight championship, and I'm like, brother, did you see that Russian dude?
Yeah,
ain't no way that guy's middleweight.
There's no shot Koba was middleweight. The first guy, the black guy, I think his name was Midnight, or I think his name was Midnight. Like that guy probably not middleweight either.
If he's middleweight, he's on the high end.
He's definitely right
the high
at the threshold, dude.
Yeah, like that dude didn't have his Wheaties that morning, and that was the difference maker. Like, he's within the grams.
Yeah, 100%. So that being said, I like that narrative better of just overcoming brute strength with technique. And then again, it's even shown at the end with the way that he takes care of Tommy and wins that fight. So I'm partial to Brendan's style,
which is kind of funny. I feel like you are a dexterity build kind of guy when you're in like video game lands and whatnot. I am definitely a strength build sort of guy. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those deviations between me and Brendan. When I gave him the screenplay, I told him, make him the dexterous type. That's not me, but I was more of a Tom Hardy at heart. Right. Yeah, I've always been a Tom Hardy at heart. You believe that, right?
I believe that you think you're a Tom Hardy at heart.
I actually really do like Tom Hardy too, and if you haven't seen it, there's a really good series with him called it's some British fucking shit, but I highly recommend it. I'll look it up when we're producing here. Let me fucking find this shit.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to derail us by this.
It's not Peaky Blinders, is it? Is that the
no that? But I think that has that other good Englishman that I like. The one from Oppenheimer.
The one who was Oppenheimer.
Yes,
Cillian,
exactly.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy. Exactly. No, I'm thinking of. I just fucking had it. See, what have you done to me?
I'm
Taboo.
so sorry.
Taboo is the show I'm thinking.
He is in Peaky Blinders. You fuck.
Oh, is he? Oh, well,
I knew it. I knew I read that somewhere.
Okay, well, I forgot he was in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, he's in Peaky Blinders. Sorry, what did you even say? I was my outrage over.
I was gonna say I highly recommend Taboo if you haven't seen it.
Okay.
Full disclosure, it heavily showcases incest, but like if you can get past that, it's okay. It's
well, I mean, to be fair, Game of Thrones also has a lot of incest.
Yeah, listen, Game of Thrones did it. Come on.
Yeah, let's not draw lines in the sand. Me.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. half the reason it's called Taboo may or may not be because of that. Anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I had a great time with this, and I had a great time seeing them traps for sure.
Yeah, he's got two fucking mountains on his shoulders.
Absolute fun. Like I couldn't for a second. I was like, is that Frankie? Is that Frankie from One Piece? Is that my boy? Is that a fucking
yeah? Just waiting for the end of the movie to come for him to win, him to go do the super pose.
Yeah, seriously though. But no, these two, Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy, they fucking killed it. I had a great time.
Yeah.
And also Joel's character Brendan wins at the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
and then we're left with a cliffhanger of like they sort of like forgive each other after their bout, and Brendan sort of walks him off the ring or whatever. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure there is a rule that unless the winner's declared, it's a no call. So I did notice that like the ref and the guy who hosted the event are like fucking bickering in the ring as Brendan is like escorting fucking Tommy like back to the locker room or whatever. And I'm just saying in another universe, in a different version of this movie, this is where the end credits scene is, and nobody gets the 5 million because fucking Brendan decided to escort his literally broken brother to the locker room so that he could receive treatment.
Yeah,
I really don't want to live in that world. I'm going to choose to believe that never happened.
Yeah, I also choose to believe that that's not a thing, and therefore it's fine that Brendan wins the 5 mil. He slides Tom Hardy some bucks, some cash for Manny's widow and his family, and then they live happily ever after in some other regard once Tommy gets out of military jail. I want to because we brought him up before. Koba specifically is played by a gentleman by the name of Kurt Angle, who is a probably the most notable other person in this film, I guess, or at least across this entire movie. There are a bunch of actual MMA fighters that play roles, as one might imagine. So, like, for instance, the guy Mad Dog, who Tommy beats the shit out of in the beginning of the movie,
twice.
And then absolutely gives the fucking hands to in the end of the movie.
Can I tell you this fight was probably my like highest expectation. Because like I felt like the writers were going to take this in one of two directions. They were either going to give Mad Dog like a chance against Tom Hardy here, because Tom Hardy was probably going to go through like a very emotionally like heightened turmoil or something like that, and maybe like lose sight of his own like goal or something like that. And then Mad Dog was going to have like the upper hand for a second, actually showing, actually giving Tom Hardy's character like a run for his money for a split second until he eventually just goes like, wait a minute, I forgot that I'm the Hulk. And then he beats the shit out of him or something like that. No. They said, fuck all that. We kicked his ass in 0.5 seconds in round 1. We're going to kick his ass in 0.4 in round 2.
We dealt with him even quicker the second time around.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I actively laughed. I did too. I thought it was a genuine funny moment.
I thought it was hilarious that and Mad Dog does all that shit talking, and you see videos all the time of fighters online that shit talk during weigh-ins or during like the press conferences. There we go. And they're just all up in the other's face, and the other is like cool, calm, and collected, which Tommy's not necessarily cool, calm, and collected, but he went there to do his thing and he did it. So you get videos all the time of shit talkers and people who have whose egos are bigger than themselves getting laid the fuck out. And so this was just a movie example of that, and I fucking love it.
Me too, anyway, buddy. Me too.
Across this movie, there are numerous MMA fighters that play roles. Koba is the only exception to this, was a wrestler in the WWE, and even more notably, 1996 American freestyle Olympic gold medalist for the US of A. So that's pretty cool.
Wait, for freestyle, like fighting freestyle, or like
no? It's the category is called freestyle wrestling. I don't know what it means. I didn't look into it.
Okay, that makes sense. For a second, I thought you were talking about like freestyle swimming. I'm like,
no. That'd be incredible. See big man like that.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, what a guy.
Yeah,
that's like a really cool background.
Yeah, that would have been incredible. No, freestyle wrestling. I don't know what freestyle wrestling entails. If it's just like what you see in high school or college wrestling for the most part. But he was a gold medalist in the 1996 Olympic Games, as well as again being a big WWE star, as well as some of the other smaller wrestling venues and shows. So probably the most notable of any of the fighters, but there's a bunch of other ones. To name a few for anyone who actually knows them, there's Eric Apple, Nate Marquardt, Anthony Johnson, who is the Black Dude Midnight. Eric Apple is Mad Dog. There's a guy named Ron Carnero, who is Marcos Santos, who is the guy that Brendan's character Brendan replaces in Sparta.
Okay.
He's the Spanish dude who is like Frank's originally like contender to go to Sparta, and then he pulls a hammy or something like that. I don't know. It's not clear.
He pulls a hammy. I assume he like tore an ACL or something, like something serious.
Yeah, probably. I found it funny because he's like gripping his quad as if like he pulled a hammy or he pulled a quad muscle trying to catch it. Because there's a part where progressively during this training montage, Brendan gets faster and faster and starts being better than Marcos. And so I just, in my head canon, he just like pulled a muscle trying to catch up to Brendan, and that put him out of the competition. Anyway, so those are a couple of the.
Actually, can I chime in too? You know, another thing about that scene that you just reminded me of that I thought was fucking wild for a second. The coach guy in that scene when he's getting like, because it's like it's played to us as like a montage. The coach guy is receiving a call, which we have no idea what it's about, but you can see that he's very like upset and distraught, and he closes his flip phone and just throws it. He just chucks
Gone.
it. I'm like, dude, I think you're gonna need that. All right, well, that's fair.
Nah.
You know, maybe I guess this guy just has a bunch of expendable income.
Yeah.
I couldn't be me, is all I'm saying.
So
all right, anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean that was basically the end of the thought. There's a bunch of actual MMA fighters, and I'm sure that they ran a lot of the fight choreography by some of these guys, and maybe even more experts in the field. Because to my untrained eye, it looked pretty good. Especially Brendan's submissions looked pretty believable. You know, I believe he got the knee bars on Koba and then the arm bar on the. I think it was an arm bar on Midnight, and then the other arm lock on his brother Tommy. You know, all of these things to my own trained eye look pretty convincing. So
yeah, it looked pretty good to me. Well, also I don't scrap. I've been in I've done like one what do you call that kind of fighting when you're like scrapping on the ground or whatever. I've done like one class of that in my entire lifetime.
BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I know they called it something else, but it's similar. It's the same shit, just with a different name, for sure.
Okay. The only other thing I'll briefly mention also as like a fun fact here is the through the course of this whole making this movie, that both of our main characters, Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton, sustained some injuries while the course of the filming was happening. I don't know specifically how or when during the filming it happened, but Edgerton at some point tore his MCL.
Oh, hell.
And filming was put on hold for, I think it said like 6 or 8 weeks or something while he got back in the shape of things.
Yikes.
And Tom Hardy somehow broke a toe, a finger, and a few ribs throughout the course of this. So
fucking Christ.
So they put themselves through the ringer to put their characters through the ringer in this movie.
Can't get it. Wow, no, that's fascinating. Any other fun facts?
No, that's what I got for you. There's not a whole lot else really. IMDb has a wealth of trivia also, which is where I pull some of this from. But
sure,
I mean, nothing else is like extremely outstanding. Those were like two of my favorite things that were mentioned.
Well, I mean, just shy of being just shy of giving this movie a gold stamp, which I feel like if I can do that now. I give this movie a definite gold stamp. I would
you get a stamp printed for yourself at some point.
I'm just saying I would highly recommend this movie to people. I found it to be a great time. Now, there might be an argument to be made where if you don't like fighting movies in general and like the drama of two people in a ring like doesn't appeal to you as like just like a moviegoer, then by all means maybe you skip this flick. I've always kind of liked those movies, if I'm going to be honest. Those movies are kind of fun for me.
I think there's something here for people even if they're not into UFC. Now if you're starkly against UFC and fighting sports, then it's probably not the movie for you. But if you're just kind of take like a neutral stance, like you don't watch it even. I don't watch it, but I'm aware of UFC. I think
Same.
this is I think this is still a worthwhile movie. You can get a lot out of the interpersonal relationships that are affected here. And I mean, the first half of the movie features actually not that much fighting. Like you get a couple of scraps that Brendan goes to, but it's largely about how the relationship between the three guys develops. And then the back half of the movie is the Sparta tournament. So I think there's something here for even those that don't necessarily care about UFC, but are just kind of there for a good narrative plot. You know, the fighting is just kind of a vector that they use to tell the rest of the story.
I have one final question. Did you know about this movie before we watched it tonight? Because I've never heard of this movie before tonight. Fantastic. I'm so glad that we got this recommendation. Fantastic. Yeah, incredible. Yeah. I'm glad I now know it exists.
Great job, Taco. This is from Taco.
this is a certified Taco.
I think he also specifically said to me at one point too that this is his favorite sports movie. And you know what? I think that's a fair pick. This is a fair pick for top.
I still think I put a Creed movie above this, but maybe I'm biased to Michael B. Jordan. I'm going to be honest. I love Creed. I love Creed with every fiber of my being. I'm going to level with you.
Both of them? There's only two, right?
There's only, well, I don't know if you're making a joke, but yeah, there's only two. No, there's a third one.
Oh, is there? I literally didn't know that. I knew there was two.
But it features a gentleman that has since been canceled.
Oh, I see.
Yes. One for being a brutalizer of the female variety.
Chris Brown?
Well, no, but also yes. To what you're saying, yes, but no, not Chris Brown.
I'll figure it out for myself later.
His name's Jonathan Majors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He has since no longer allowed back in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie when it came out. I'll give it that. It was just, we just don't talk about it anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought this was we don't talk about it in like a Spider-Man 3 kind of way.
No. It was objectively a very good film. I had a great time. It's a damn shame that it features a character, or I'm sorry, an actor that is since no longer somebody we care for. But that being said, I'm glad we had it. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Are we
pretty good?
I feel great. Well, you know what? Then I think it is time. It is finally time, Christian, for that time of the evening. We are going to go on to what did this movie make? What was the budget? What was the box office? Well, we'll lead obviously with the budget. Now, I try to pretend like I sway you with these preambles. So I'm going to continue to do that once more. Yeah. So this movie is produced by Lionsgate. Now, Lionsgate has a reputation for, similarly, like with Ironclaw, it's made on usually very small budgets. It features normally like a smaller cast. It doesn't like if they have like big names in the movie, they normally won't inflate it with like more than like maybe somewhere between like 3 to 7 main characters that are like, well known or something like that. Because at the end of the day, like Lionsgate's more discounting maybe a John Wick scenario. Lionsgate's more for the drama, which I can respect. I love that about Lionsgate. They make some of my favorite movies. So yeah, Christian, with a movie like this, given that preamble, what do you think a budget for a movie like this would have gone for back in the year of our Lord 2011?
Yeah, so I am also privy to some of this information, especially about like Lionsgate movies. But and there's also Tom Hardy is a known name at this point, not like incredibly known. He's been around the movie scene by this point for like 10 years or something like that, more or less. I've been around even like the stage production before that. Joel Edgerton also same sort of deal. And Nick Nolte is probably like at this time probably the biggest name, but so that being said, outside of those three, not a whole lot of like super well-known people here. I don't think they made this movie for like that much money. Okay. I'm gonna say we're probably in the neighborhood of like $35 million.
35 million. And you feel confident in that number, or you feel good about that number?
I feel pretty good about that. I'm learning from the last time I did this with specifically you, where I joked around too much and said some outlandish bullshit and then doubled down on it. Taking this
but
one.
I love when you double down on bullshit. It makes me laugh.
I do too. But this time I'm choosing to guess a little bit more realistically.
Angel, not the demon on your shoulder.
Yeah. I'm choosing the angel that's telling me that this movie was probably made on the lower end of budgets. So 35 mil is my answer.
All right, 35 million. And the true number of this evening is pretty damn close. It's 25. It was 25. Not bad. Not bad. I think that's like, I don't know how statistics work, but I feel like I'm going to choose to believe that falls within a standard deviation. That I'm choosing to say that.
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah, anyway, so I'm right because I know statistics. So you definitely found it within a standard deviation. That's great. I love that for you, big guy.
Thanks, man.
I think that was very reserved and reasonable response. Now the more interesting question: what do you think a movie like this made at the box office? And the biggest thing that I think is going to harm the box office numbers for this movie, I just never heard of it. So how many people?
And your name's Brendan.
And my name's fucking Brendan. So I've never heard of this movie.
Based off of.
It's the I gave them the screenplay and I don't even know the movie anyway. In this film, even though I would say it's a very good movie, this is an easy 8.5 to a 9 out of 10 for me personally. I could easily watch this again. I've never heard of this film. So do you think that would be
where were you in life
same?
At the year 2011?
I was graduating high school.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, yeah.
I think that explains why I probably didn't see this movie as it came out, because I would have been a freshman in high school. So
this also came out in September. This seems like it came out very close to the original Avengers, which feels like a death sentence.
I want to say that movie was a 2012 hit.
I can almost promise you it was 2011. Hold on, because I was definitely in high school when it came out. Avengers 2011.
Yep.
Oh, well, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2012. Oh, fuck you, man.
You were either definitely not in high school or you were, and you have forgotten when you graduated.
No, I graduated in 2011. I know that. Mm-hmm. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. So I came back after my first year of college and just fucking forgot, apparently.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
you win some, you lose some, buddy. It's all right.
You win some, you lose some.
Age comes for us all.
It'd be like that. All right, well, either way.
Yeah. Oh man, how much this movie made? Yeah, this is always the hard part, isn't it? I think this. I mean, I would say without beyond a shadow of a doubt, on a $25 million budget, that this movie made money.
Okay.
How much monies did it make?
Yeah, that's the real question.
I'm gonna say I want to play optimistic here because this is such a good movie, but
yeah.
Oh, and I want to say it made like 100 mil, but I don't know if that's true. Maybe people who were paying more attention to movies at the time were really into it, and it did actually make a lot of money. Man, I think I am gonna double down and on my hopefulness and appreciation of the movie, and say that this movie made, I'll even bump it a little, so it's at like 110 mil.
Okay.
That's gonna be my answer.
All right, so 110 million.
Highly optimistic, I think.
All right. Well, Christian, are you ready for the answer?
Probably not, but lay it on me. I'm bracing.
Christian, it's with a heavy heart, I tell you.
Oh, no way.
Buddy, I am devastated to tell you this. This movie did not make money.
What? Oh no.
And furthermore, it didn't even make its budget.
You're kidding.
I'm not. This movie made, and I shit you not, only $23.3 million.
Oh my God.
fucking criminal.
Yeah, it's capitalism fucking strikes again, dude.
Dude, capitalism is the fucking villain in every narrative.
Holy shit, 23.
Everyone's fucking B plot. It's capitalism all the way down.
Fuck off.
I know, man. I couldn't believe the number one. I thought I misplaced a digit the first time I looked at it, and then I'm like, no.
This movie has such good ratings, like across the board too. Like no matter what website I go to, IMDb gives it an 8.1. I'll spoil slightly. Letterboxd, across all reviews, it averages a 4, which is very high for Letterboxd. I think I can't remember the last movie that we watched and I had to look at reviews for, and it had anything above a 4. There probably is something out there, but I can't remember.
I wish in my heart of hearts that I could tell you that this movie made so much more, but it just didn't.
This is a travesty.
It's a damn shame. This is a good movie. It did not deserve this.
No.
In fact, I'm looking at other movies that came out on September 9th. I'm going to see if I can filter by September 9th. No, I cannot. Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. Other movies that came out September 9th. Just to see if that played into this. We have, I think this is the reason why. Aw, hell. You know, a movie came out the same day as this movie.
Oh, God, what?
Contagion, which I don't know if you remember that movie, but it was a very popular movie for its time, and it made way more money than Warrior did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
fucking Matt Damon.
Yikes.
And Lawrence Fishburne.
I want to see more. Anything else that came out?
Man.
Kevin Hart, Laugh at My Pain. That must be a stand-up. I don't care about that. Creature, never heard of it. Mere Brother, never heard of it. Shaolin, I don't think I've heard of it. Love in Space, After, Where Soldiers Come From. I think the rest of the stuff's garbage. So
I'm seeing not the same day, but the next week was Lion King, some Lion King movie.
Yeah,
was this
I
the
did see
3D remake or something.
No, they released a 3D rendition of the
Disney.
original. Yeah, fucking Disney. Always wanting more fucking stupid ass money, dude. It's a damn shame, dude.
Yeah, that sucks.
But you can't. Sometimes this is what happens in Hollywood.
Oh, and Moneyball 2 weeks later. Did you ever see that
Moneyball
movie?
came out. I have heard of it. I have not seen it myself, but I do know that it's critically acclaimed.
Moneyball is a good movie.
I have heard that people like Moneyball, but I have not seen it myself. Man, it actually kind of devastated me to tell you that number. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't ready for it when I saw it.
Yeah, that's awful. I hate this. The world sucks. This is the worst timeline.
This is the worst timeline. Fucking capitalism.
Yeah.
The villain in every story.
Right, well, I am here to hopefully uplift your spirits a little bit with some Letterboxd reviews if you're ready for them.
I am fucking ready for some Letterboxd.
All right.
Let's go, baby.
Excellent. So, as previously stated, people like this movie, and so I had to do a little bit of digging to find some decent low number reviews even to look through, and even then some of them are just people just want to give their opinion of this movie on this review site. Fuck that, I'm here for memes. Dog.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
So along those lines, I've got the second most liked review on this movie because the most liked one is a very long, I agree with all the points that the most liked one said. It's just too long to read on the show and also not funny. So the second most liked one says Rocky fucking wishes.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Now, I'm in, dude.
I'm in, baby. Let's go. That's a ooh. You I don't think you would lead with a 5 out of 5. I don't think you would do it. I think you, if it was a 5 out of 5, you would have put it like second or third in the pack. That's a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh
4.5.
Man, good call, Brendan. Good call. 4.5 stars.
Attaboy, we're learning.
He's reading the psychology.
for once.
All right.
Or am I just making up psychology, throwing it at a wall, and it's finally sticking?
Yeah, seeing what sticks. All right. Excellent start. So I'll give you this one next. So as you might imagine, in a movie with a bunch of shirtless dudes, in some of them probably in the best shape of their life, we've got some thirsty reviews here. So I've got one of my favorite ones here. It says in asterisks, So it's like, a thing happens. A character gets punched in the face by Tom Hardy. Me. God, I wish that were me.
Oh, shit. That's a 5 out of 5.
No.
Damn it. Oh, I thought you were like, I thought I fucking psyched you out and you went into the barrel for the 5 out of 5.
Yeah, you thought you like a magician forces you to pick a certain card. Like you thought I'd go for the 5-star review. Nah, no such.
I mean, that sounds like a 5-star review to me, honestly.
It certainly does, Brendan. But I'm gonna break your heart a little bit here, albeit not as badly as mine with the gross of the movie. That was a 3.5-star review.
3.5? At least make it a 4, man.
Yeah.
Like you drop 1 star because it's not you. What the fuck? That's a criminal review right there.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, bad star rating.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next I have I'm gonna read this slightly longer one.
Okay.
If overused cinematic tropes were illegal, this film would be given the death penalty. Melodramatic claptrap that exists solely on the fumes of Rocky's egg farts. Don't know what that's supposed to mean. This movie wants so desperately to make the world of mixed martial arts seem like professional wrestling. It has the exact same storyline as Kane versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 20. It's just a big wrestling nerd here is just like jealous that Kurt Angle didn't get more of the spotlight in this movie. I audibly laughed more than a few times. I mean, so did I, dude. And that's not even counting the handful of times I laughed at the gravelly, squeaky, whispery man voices Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte insist on doing the entire movie. I'm certain, and this is, where he at least gets self-aware, I'm certain this was not the desired response.
Wow. God, that dude fucking flames.
Scathing review.
I mean, fuck, dude. I'm a little stun locked. Either he went full meme and said all that and gave it a 5 out of 5, or that was a genuine review and this man came out here with a fucking 2-star. I'm gonna stick to my guns. That's a 2-star review.
You went the right path, but you didn't go down far enough.
It was the 1-star review.
This person gave this a 1-star review. Wow. Only half a star away from the lowest possible review they could have given the movie.
Wow. What a guy.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy really is. He's just so salty that that it wasn't normal wrestling. I should give him a list of a bunch of boxing and MMA movies that he can watch.
I wonder how this guy feels about Iron Claw.
Yeah, I wonder if this guy was
I want to know what this person thinks about the Iron Claw. Yeah. That would be incredible.
I mean, to be fair, Iron Claw's a great movie. Just, also rips your fucking heart out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I've got a few more here. Let's go the other direction once more and get some lightheartedness in here. This is a fantasy film because Tom Hardy is a fucking ape. There's no way Joel Edgerton could ever last more than a second in the ring with him.
I mean, did you see those traps, dude? They're fucking mountains. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with this guy 100%. But that's a 4.5 out of 5 for sure.
Very well done, Brendan.
Yes. I can sniff it. I can sniff it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I disagree with this person. There's definitely something to be said about technique versus brute strength in certain regards. So
I feel like I totally agree, but I will say Tom Hardy is both the brute force wall, but also like he gets a lot of clean hits in. I'm just saying Tom Hardy had to dig real fucking deep to not get knocked the fuck out all that time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Did you mean Joel Edgerton?
Did I say Colin again?
Well, you said Tom Hardy, actually.
No, I said Tom Hardy was a fucking was a fucking man in
right,
this.
But then you were like to not get knocked out. So I was like, oh, did you mean Brendan?
I did mean for Joel to not get knocked out. I didn't mean that. So I probably was just mistaken. I was fucking my words up.
I mean, I agree. There is something to be said about technique over brute strength, but Tom Hardy is touted the entire time as just this like a pinnacle of fighting in this world, and I mean should be familiar with grappling given that he did all of that wrestling in high school. So
I feel like one thing, and this isn't a nitpick on the movie really because I still believed it, one thing that could have really sold home the Dex build on Joel Edgerton's case would have been maybe if he was a bit faster or something than Tom Hardy's character.
like something that like proved to me that like he could either deflect or like dodge out of the way of a couple of hits more often, so to like really send home the point that even if Tom Hardy, when he connects, he will knock you the fuck out. Like, I feel like that part got a little lost in their final bout because Tom Hardy got a lot of good hits in.
Yeah.
And, you know, Joel Edgerton just kind of like used main character syndrome to be like, I don't get knocked out easily, and then I'm going to grapple you to death.
Yeah. Yeah, just like for some reason can take 1,000 punches like he does from Koba and Midnight also, and just eats it all. Yeah. All right. I have 2 more reviews for you. So we've got, this movie makes me want to eat raw meat 3 meals a day and punch a baby in the stomach for looking at me cross-eyed. Max level testosterone achieved. My favorite sports flick of all time. I think this might have been written by Taco, but I'm not sure.
Okay, that's a 5-star review.
That is a 5-star review.
Incredible. Dude, I'm on a roll. That's 3. That's 3, baby.
And I've got one more for you.
Let's fucking go.
You have a distinct possibility of going 4 for 6 today, which might be a Panda View record, I think.
I think it might be a record.
I think,
but, you know,
I think my sister maybe did 4 out of 6 right when we did her movie.
Oh, hell.
So you might be tying. But either way, it's definitely it'll be a personal record for you if you haven't already broken it anyway. 3 at least is tied best for you. Anyway, I've got the last one here. It says,
let's go.
Okay, maybe I'm the dumb one, but it doesn't matter who wins at this point. Why are you doing this? Just split the prize money, kings.
Honestly, same. That's me. When it got to the point where actually this is another thing that I couldn't stop thinking about, and I'm sure they didn't bring this up on purpose. When fucking Brendan like made it to the final round against Tommy, in the back of my mind I'm like, brother, second place prize has got to be like at least $100,000 or something for a fight like this. Like, just take the fucking $100,000 and walk away. Like, who the fuck cares at that point? You made it to the final round of a $5 million tournament. Second place, just walk away with nothing. Otherwise, there's no incentive. Well, I guess there's still the $5 million incentive to fight.
I mean, there's a what's that, 5,000% more incentive.
Right. Okay, fine. So there's incentive to fight, but like on it, like there's gotta be a second prize. I feel like there's no way that this tournament was thrown together and like it's just a 5 million winner take all. Maybe they did say that at some point in the movie, but that seems stupid.
I feel like there was like a 5 million winner take all statement made at some point, just for the sake of plot, I guess. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. Second place in real life would absolutely walk away with some small purse.
Yeah, like there would be something in a prize, and I'm just like, Brendan, like, listen, Brendan to Brendan, guy to guy, the man that gave the screenplay to these guys. Probably why it didn't make its money back at the box office. Anyway, Brendan to Brendan, just walk away with $100,000. Like, that's all you need. That gets you out of Dodge. You can pay off the equity that you took out on reverse mortgage, give it back to the bank, and you just fucking wash your hands of it. Let your fucking brother go to jail, give $5 million to his best friend's wife. What do you mean?
He's going to jail anyway.
He's going to jail anyway. Like, fuck, like, who cares? This wasn't. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway,
I think that's more incentive to fight hard. It's like, he's going to be in jail. What's he going to do with $5 million?
Well, I mean, like, he's going to give it to his best friend's widow. Like, that sounds great.
well, I mean, you're right, but still.
It sounds great. Anyway, shit, I forgot all the language used in this review. I mean, it was definitely a good review, but also it was like, guys, fucking, what are you doing? Split the money. I'm gonna say, it's either a 4.5 or a 4. I don't think it's full 5. 4.5 or 4. I'm gonna say it's 4. 4 feels right.
Yeah, I bet it does, doesn't it?
Oh no. It's wrong. Okay.
Yeah, well. this one very wrong. In fact, this person.
Oh, did they hate it?
Gave this.
Was this a negative review?
A whopping 2 stars.
What the fuck, dude? Come on, dude. I thought he was memeing. Oh no, shit. Well, that would reframe my whole thought process.
Yeah, this person was this was like actually a sore point for this person, this reviewer.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame. I didn't think about it enough. I thought this guy was just like, guys, you should split the prize money, but I still like the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that to me that would be like absolute same.
Yeah, I would definitely thinking the same thing, but I definitely like this movie though. It's not that serious, dog. Like, come on. Yeah, I had to for the 2 and 1 star reviews specifically, I had to actually like sort the reviews by different review star levels, because as I was just scrolling through the most liked ones as it defaults to, sometimes there are low star reviews up there too, and because people agree with them. But as I kept scrolling through the pages, I just wasn't finding any low star reviews. Like, I got 3, 4, 5 pages deep, and everyone's like 3, 3.5 and above. And I'm like, I have to actually go like real digging for this now.
I have to go into the fucking depths to find a
to
negative review of this fucking movie
and find people who actually dislike this movie. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's outstanding. Outstanding how that person wrote that review and then gave it 2 stars.
I mean, I can see it now that I think back on it, but it just felt like a meme at first.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, well, shit. Well, I'll settle for 3 out of 6 ain't
4.
bad.
Oh no, sorry, you're right. 3.
Well, the last would have been 4. I would have gotten the 4, but I'm a big dumb idiot.
Yeah.
Which, maybe that's why my screenplay didn't make $25 million. What?
I mean, you're not necessarily a big dumb idiot. Just threw a little tricky curveball at you. Cheeky little curveball.
Cheeky little curveball. We didn't watch a baseball movie, Christian. We watched a fighting movie. Okay, so maybe
I threw a cheeky little left hook at you.
There you go. See, that's all I'm asking for. If you're going to throw an analogy at me, make sure we stay on brand. That's all I'm asking for.
I apologize. I'm falling apart here at the end of the.
I know that's why I gotta. This is why in these 2-man situations, Christian, we work off each other. We help each other. But if we ever hit the ring together, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. I just want you to know, especially $5 million are on the line. I'm just saying.
You fucking wish. I'm gonna
$5 million
your
on the
ass is
line.
getting grappled. I'm a big lanky dude. Your ass is grass.
You are a big lanky dude, but you know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna make sure to close the gap, and I'm not gonna let you get the leverage on me. I'm gonna stay low to the ground, and you're gonna have to fucking work to get me to the floor. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, that's fine. I'm also a heavier dude, so I'm just gonna sit on you.
Well. Yeah, I'm a do not that.
I'm gonna roll you off of me. I hope.
This is me channeling my fucking inner Barto. I just bounce everything off of me and back onto you.
Yeah. Just like real kid on the playground is like, well, I've got anti-armbar armor on, so you can't armbar me.
Yeah, you're not allowed to armbar me. I have anti-armbar armor.
God damn it. All right. Close us out, Brendan.
All right. If you liked what you heard this evening, first of all, let's thank all of our lovely sponsors and patrons right now. We have Twigo, Taco, and Rin, but most importantly for this week is Taco, who recommended this wonderful movie. We had a great time.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes we say that ironically. This week is not the case. This is a fantastic film.
Extremely genuine. Very well done, Taco.
Very, very genuine. I look forward to the next movie that I watch. If you like what you heard this evening, you can follow us on Twitter at Panda Sightings. And if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at pandasightings@gmail.com. If you'd like to listen to us, you can listen to us on Spotify or all of your podcast related things. We also go on YouTube now. If you want to talk with us directly in real time, actively, you can talk to us on our Discord. Should be Panda Sightings. I'm sure that an invitation will be somewhere in the socials of wherever you're listening to this this lovely information. And if you want to support us any other way, you can do so on Patreon. We let you do that. You don't have to be a major primetime supporter to do so. We love all of the people that try to support us monetarily. Or you can go to our storefront where you can buy stickers and shit mostly for the One Piece with the Lime side. Because unfortunately, I feel like we really need to do something about the fact that we have nothing for PandaView. We only have PandaView sticker, I think. Which is
I don't even think we have that. I'll be honest.
We need to do something about that.
We should probably do at least that. And I say it almost every week when we bring this part up. And
right.
Yet here I am.
Remind me to either do that myself or bother Justin and Jordy, because you shouldn't be required to do the vast majority of the work on this on this side of our other podcast.
and also deal with the fucking merch. So I will remind me to deal with some of that.
Will do.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
And unlike the Letterboxd reviews, which are very up in the air, give us all a cheeky little 5 stars on your podcast listening app of choice.
Yes, please. You can even leave comments on all of your audio based platforms. I think nowadays.
Yeah, most of them.
I know Justin reads all of them and usually comments on them too.
Specifically Spotify. I think he. Well, Spotify just gave us the option to reply back on comments now. They've had the ability for people to leave comments for a while, but now we as the creators have the ability to reply. So I know he reads the Spotify ones and occasionally Apple Podcast. I think it's still called Apple Podcast. Anywhere else, comments are probably gone less looked at, but we appreciate the 5 stars in the comments no matter what. We see them. We see you.
Yes. Thank you all. And Christian, I hope you enjoyed my autobiography this evening.
I did. I appreciated the insight into this life that I didn't even know you had this whole time.
Yep. A lot of people say that I don't give off these kinds of vibes, but this is the life I live. I'm a very estranged and depressed and very sad individual.
Wow. Okay. I feel like the version of you in the movie wasn't that sad by the end of it. I feel like.
I not tell you? Oh, I was Nick Nolte.
Oh, well, I mean, you literally said you were Brendan the whole time. So I don't know where this is coming.
Did I?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I meant I was.
I
was Nick Nolte.
Oh,
yeah,
so you're also even older than I figured.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a dinosaur.
There's some math in here that kind of doesn't add up. You graduated high school in 2011,
dude. Okay, fine. I used to tan a lot. Okay, fucking get off my fucking back.
Tan a lot. Oh shit. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about your sons then, and the drinking problem, I guess.
Yeah, well, the drinking problem's real, but the Suns is, they were just like a couple action figures, so we don't need to worry about all that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
right. Continuing with the whole everything is just like a thing from your childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
What was what was Frank, the trainer guy?
He was my sister's nude Ken doll.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong.
In fact, I even wrote in the screenplay, this guy needs to be naked at all times, and they went out of their way to clothe him for some reason. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Very odd choice.
Yeah. Well, he was in sleeveless t-shirts a lot, so I guess they kind of thought that was compromise for you.
Nope, it wasn't.
All right, well, you have to take that up with them in the sequel or at some point.
Yeah, don't worry, I will.
All right, cool. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'll see you next week with the next one.
All right, I'm gonna go drink myself into a stupor. Later.
I should probably stop him, but